years, an elite squad of nano-enhanced soldiers join forces with the faction to put an end to 15 years of unnecessary bloodshed under the brutal dictator Sopot. Red Faction 2.
Hello there, SteelSnake72 with my Red Faction 2 PS4 medium difficulty playthrough. And it's that level, yeah. I said it was coming, and this is my least favourite part of Red Faction 2, and I think it's part of the reason that people don't like this game, because the start of this game is pretty poor, to be honest with you, and this is the peak of poorness, because it's such a bad level. You're stuck in these horrible sewers where you can't see anything because of the muddy graphics. You know, endless spawning enemies, grenades, annoying drones. At least you get the shotgun. It's just a really miserable level, but I'll try and keep my spirits up for you guys for this level, because yeah, I don't like this level, but we're gonna get through it. I'm gonna get you through it as well, because if you're having any trouble, this is where I start dying. You know, my first deaths occur in this part of the game because there's a certain section which I just can't get through without dying at least once, because I can't remember where to ever go. And the game's really not clear with this. It's a rare instance where you got to use a bit of geomod, actually. But yeah, as a kid, because I never used to finish games, what would happen is I'd always play the first 3 levels, so I know the first 3 levels perfectly. I'd always give up at this one because it used to scare me a bit. I was very young, so please don't call me a wimp or anything, even though I was. But you know, because you got some creepy music, you can't see where you're going. I probably didn't know how to do the night vision either, which I think is down on the D-pad. Endless enemies just shooting me. So even with the cheats where one bullet set an enemy on fire, which is really funny, I should do like a funny montage of that if I could actually. You know, even with that, I just didn't enjoy doing this, you know. And it wasn't until years later when I started, you know, because I think the first game that I ever finished and ever got the real desire to finish was Metal Gear Solid 1. Because until then I used to just play through the first few levels of a game until I got stuck on it and just replay them. As you do as a kid. Like Call of Duty Finest Hour, I can tell you about the first like 5 or 6 levels really well in the Russian campaign. And speaking of which, sewer levels, I mean, even that game had a bad like underground level, didn't it? Call of Duty Finest Hour, where you're the Americans and you've got to like blow up the ladders in Aachen. Oh, I hate that. I hate it all. Just sewers. I mean, Outlast has got to be one of the worst ones in recent memory. Not because it's a bad level, but just, you know, when you're going in sewers, it's going to go down. And the one redeeming quality is using the shotgun like that in this level. But you don't even fight humans in this level. You fight really annoying drones, and it's just really creepy. Obviously, it won't affect you if you're actually old, but when you're of a very young age and you're playing this game, it gets you. It gets you. Yeah, I'm not the best with dark spaces. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1 was the first game I ever finished because that game really compelled me to finish it because of the story, how it was presented and everything, and just... It's a game where... I mean, this isn't the right place to talk about Metal Gear Solid really, but it's just a game that you get compelled to finish at that age because you never played anything like it, and the story's pushing you forward and you want to know how it ends because the story's so intriguing. And, you know, the characters are so great, as you get some really terrible swimming. Like, this brings back like Tomb Raider flashbacks, if anything, which... Yeah, I couldn't play Tomb Raider to save my life. The old ones, that is. If you've only knowledge of the new Tomb Raiders, you're probably like, what is this person on about? And I think there's actually like a secret area you can find in these sewers where you can find like loads of dead Red Faction people, but you can find loads of ammo and health. I don't go for it in this playthrough because I was really not enjoying this section, and I didn't want to go off the beaten path. I just wanted to go from point A to point B and just get through this part of the game as quickly as possible, because once you get through this whole sewer section, this game really, it starts hitting its stride then, and it becomes a really really big joy to play. But it's just this level completely tears the game down for me, like really ruins it. And I was just thinking about this game actually, and you know what, I'm going to very quickly look this game up on Metacritic, because I wanted to talk about Metacritic this video, because that's just something I've been thinking about recently, and a recent thing with that. And sort of like, you know, people who take Metacritic as a serious a serious way to judge a game, because it's probably one of the worst things you could do. You should never judge a game based on its Metacritic score, especially its user Metacritic score. And I've just checked this game actually. On the PS2 it's 84, which is pretty solid. That was these days you'd be pretty happy with that one actually. But because I was thinking about Uncharted 4. Now, if you guys don't know, Uncharted 4 I believe is a 93 on Metacritic right now. Did have a 94, and until there was this really bad review written, which I think gave the score like a 4 out of 10. But when I say bad review, I don't mean that it gave the game a bad score. The review itself was a really poorly done review. Really bad, and it reasons why the game they thought the game was bad was just poor. It was a badly written review, very unprofessional. You know, the guy who wrote that, he must have been having a bad day, to say the least. And there was this big thing. Troy Baker, who was one of the voice actors from the game, even started saying, you know, this review should be banned from Metacritic. And at first I was like, absolutely, you know, it's an unprofessional review. I see that point of the argument. But the more I thought about it, I thought, this is a slippery slope when it comes to this. We can't, you know, as much as I get Troy Baker's side of the argument and most people calling for it, you can't start calling for reviews to get banned like that, because even if they're poorly written or whatever, you're going down the slippery slope of basically banning reviews that you don't like. It's a slippery slope, and at the end of the day, it brings the Metacritic score down by 1. So what? It's no longer better than Witcher 3 and Metal Gear Solid 5? Of course not. If you think it's better than those two games, it is. If you don't, then you don't. And the Metacritic scores, it's not going to make a difference at the end of the day. I know this is an old topic almost, but I just wanted to talk about it because it was going through my head about people who take Metacritic a bit too seriously. You know, don't worry about it. It's not a barometer of games quality, and at the end of the day, anybody that reads that review on Uncharted 4 will know that the review's terrible, and they won't give it a second thought. They're not going to think, oh my god, this game's no longer a 94, it's no longer as good as Metal Gear Solid 4. No chance. Uncharted 4's, I would say, is probably better than Metal Gear Solid 4, because Metal Gear Solid 4 isn't that great. But thankfully we're coming up to the end of the first part of this level. It's just, I just hate it. I hate watching it now. I can tell my frustration in just watching me play it, in how I'm skipping certain sections of this level. But we haven't even got to the worst bit for me personally. That's this bit with the train. Sadly, it's not the train like in Uncharted 2 or Lost Legacy, which was a cool ending to that game. Spoilers, sorry. But Metacritic's not something to really be judged by, you know. Judge a game on its own merits, not its Metacritic score, because if you go by Metacritic, I suppose it'll probably tell you that games have declined in quality, or would it actually? I don't know. I'm not actually too sure, because if it tells you that, it's probably correct. But you know, you're still getting games with the Uncharted 4 getting a 94 Metacritic. Is the game a 94 Metacritic? Who knows? Because numbers don't define games, do they? It's all personal, you know. I don't really give review scores anymore, and I don't pay heed to them. I used to like live by them religiously. And I'll just stop for a second, because this train section, this is where you just... This is my third attempt doing this, because I died twice. You've just got to simply keep running, and... Well, the idea is you're supposed to like blow holes in the wall to find ammo and like hide in them when the train comes, but you can just run, really. I realised that on my third time through, because I was getting so annoyed on this. It really was doing my head in. But, as I was saying, it's... Metacritic, it's not something to take seriously, because judge a game on its own. I don't give review scores, that's what I was saying. I don't give review scores because games don't get defined by a number, and you know, just I would always encourage someone to read a review about a game as opposed to, you know, just go for the score like so many people do. You go into comments on a GameSpot and IGN video, and they'll always be talking about the score. The score's the most irrelevant part. The only reason I would defend for having a number on your score is a way of judging, like just having a very like base way of judging a game in terms of its quality, using it as sort of a guideline for a reviewer. I would have a personal review score if I was a reviewer, but I wouldn't share it. You know, I'd encourage people to read and listen to what I'm saying about the game and make their own judgment off that. Really, it's not, you know, just because Modern Warfare 2 and Killzone 2 get the same 9 out of 10, does that mean they're the same quality? No, it's up to, at the end of the day, it's up to the player, isn't it? And up to the fans. I would argue Killzone 2 is a much better game than that, but you know, scores don't define numbers, and I don't really know where this tangent's come from. It's just one that's come to my head, and it's one I wanted to bring up, as this is my absolute least favourite part of the game, because you get these annoying spider crabs, and what these are, they just run onto you, they blow you up, they take half your health away each go on this difficulty. God knows what they do on hard difficulty. I don't want to find out, because when you die in this game, you go back to where sort of like the sub-levels end, which if you remember, if you watch the last level I talked about the transitions, that's how it works, you know, you go back to like the transition, and that's a fair few minutes, there's no checkpoints. At least it's better than Red Faction 1 where you just saved, and this is annoying because I know I've got in the wrong toilet, which means I'm pretty screwed, but this is definitely the attempt where I survive. Because there's a problem is you don't really know where to go, because the guy, one of the soapbox guards, tells you, go in the bathroom, blah blah blah. He talks like that, so you never know what he damn well says. You've got to like blow a hole in the wall and go through it. It's a real pain to find. I hate it. And you can't. My plan was to sort of like hang back and like shoot these spider things, but you can't do that because I think they're infinite. And I found it. You've got to just, through a bit of luck. And this is a pretty tense moment because I don't want to die now because I found the way out, but I really don't want to do this section a fourth time. So this is pretty nerve-wracking as I just sort of like run, lose half my health. I'm pretty much on the verge. Oh, I'm very much on the verge. I got blown up again. Desperately run. I think I've done it. I've got the health. And once you've done that, lads, pat yourself on the back because you've done the worst part of the game as it just comes to an end. And thankfully, from this point on, the game's superb. Red Faction 2 becomes Red Faction worthy at this point. Finally. You get one of the cooler looking levels of the game, which actually it's pretty cool. I suppose in terms of visual style, is this game as cool as the first one? Not really. The first one had such a coolness with it all being red and on Mars. I love games on Mars. Mars is such a cool thing. And remember Red Faction Guerrilla? That's a prize of a game. Again, Red Faction's had a really curious development over the years as I lose like all my health by just blowing that guy up. Enemy dialogue getting me again to laugh, but the series had an interesting development, hasn't it? 1 and 2 came out very close to each other. 2's development is baffling for why they didn't go to Mars. Guerrilla, they turned it into a third-person GTA clone, really. Again, really curious, went back to Mars, and then I never played Armageddon. It's the one Red Faction game I never played, and after that the series died out because THQ, the original producers, of obviously they went bankrupt or whatever. I'm not actually too sure, but they're not around anymore. But I wonder if we're going to get a new Red Faction by the people that took over the property. Who knows? Would people want a new Red Faction? You know, let me know, guys. I don't know. It's would I want a new one? I don't know. You know, these two games, the first one and the second one, they're kind of classic to me. I don't know if you could emulate, or if I'd really even want a Red Faction 3 in the classic sense, or Red Faction 5 technically. I don't think I need it. I think I can live my gaming life without it. I think I'll be okay. And we're coming up to a section that trains. Yeah, my fear of trains and train tracks, I think it all stems from this upcoming section in the game, which is. This reminds me of Siphon Filter 1, and if you don't know what Siphon Filter is, it was a PS1 game that was basically, it was meant to like rival, there you see a change in colour scheme in that transition certainly, but it was a game that was meant to rival Metal Gear Solid, and it was a fine game in its own right. Probably didn't do that though. And there was one level in particular where you had to chase this woman while fighting enemies very similar to this, and you had to go from each train track to each train track and dodging the trains. And oh, in this game, the game's very forgiving when it comes to the trains. Like you can walk next to them, as it were, when they're moving past you, and like hang on the side of it and not get run over. Siphon Filter, you touch the train one bit, it's clearly a death trigger. You just instantly die. It is so annoying. But we're away from the dark, grimy sewers into this quite beautiful looking part of the game. But this is very similar to that Siphon Filter section. You've got to move from side to side, dodging the trains. I like to go on the right side as I get ambushed by enemies here because I can see the train coming towards me, which I can't the other way because you don't want to get snuck up from behind by a train. That's quite a cruel way to go, because these train drivers, they don't really care. Like, what, guns and bullets going by? I don't care, I'm driving, I've got a job to do. That's their attitude on this matter. Which yeah, is very Siphon Filter. And Siphon Filter, that was a cool game. I never finished that. I'd love to replay those. As we meet up with Quill once again, who, now that I think of, she reminds me very much of the character of Sarah Hall in Black Ops 3. You know, the one that showed you how to use the DNI stuff for the first time? And you ended up doing it to her with the weirdest level in the game when you went to World War II. You know, really weird flashback. Which was, yeah, the more you think about Black Ops 3, just how bizarre. What a game.
I'll be watching your back.
Funny because people say it's, especially Warrior says it's easily the best Call of Duty it's released in the past few years. It's probably the best since 2012's Black Ops 2, because we had such a decline in quality with like Ghost, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, excluding Black Ops 3 obviously, and then Infinite Warfare, and now we've got World War 2 coming back. And I mean, the way I've looked at Black Ops 3, I'm going to use it in the 24 terms, in terms of the series. Like, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare is like a Series 6 of 24, where you've had 5 amazing series of television, Series 5 being the peak, and you get a terrible Series 6, and then Black Ops 3 is like Season 7, where it's a slight improvement, but it's still not to the heights of the past 5 series. And then, like, Infinite Warfare can be like Series 8, I guess, pretty crap as well. Although, talking about 24, at least Series 8 ended cool, which, yeah, what a decline that series had. Which, I'm wondering if anybody watched 24 Legacy. I watched the first few episodes of it before I really didn't care for it. I thought it was pretty crap. Just not saying about Jack, and we can't keep using Jack because, I mean, how much stuff has... Do you remember when 24 was believable with what Jack was doing and you actually felt endangered for him in Series 1 particularly? You always felt on the edge of your seat that he could die at any moment and you wouldn't be surprised because the odds were against him so much. Like, no, that changed pretty quick, didn't it? To where we were by Live Another Day. Was that what that Series 9 was called? Which was actually really good. Where he's mowing down like 20 like Chinese like operatives on a boat. That was cool. Yeah, that series changed over time. Yeah, because I gave up on 24 Legacy and started watching the Lethal Weapon TV series, which was 10 times better than I has any right to be. And I'm actually somewhat interested for where Series 2 goes, because it's taken the Lethal Weapon formula and done something interesting with it, which... Who would have called that in this day and age of terrible remakes? And yeah, thankfully Quill will tell you when trains are coming, but if you use your eyes, you're alright. I remember this section being a lot more like grander in scale when I was a child, but obviously all the games we've played now, it doesn't seem all that important, especially Uncharted 2 with its train. But you do that, guys, you plant the bombs and that's the end of the level. You've done the worst part of the game and it's smooth sailing from here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys when we're with Jason Statham on the tank. I'll see you guys later.